Well, let's begin then with foundational, and there's the way the slides go, I think, basically is left, right, all the way down the page. So let's just begin with a little bit of reviewing the statistics to get to the point of why do we need to kind of do something with video with regard to our business. And so the first thing we need to understand is the average North American person is exposed to more than 3,000 brand messages a day. And so in terms of video, we're talking about statistics in that online video viewers for 2012 will reach probably 169.3 million, which is basically 5 billion viewers, and that's about 53.5% right there of the population. We add that to that then, 70.8% of internet users watch video when they're out there, and then we've got 46.7 million viewers who are on Facebook are watching videos that are put out on that social media channel. Add to that 54.6 million mobile phone type viewers watching videos, and then another 51.2 million smartphone folks are watching video on their smartphones. When we put all those numbers together, and being a visual person, I'm pretty numerically challenged, but when you put all that together, it's about 85% of the population is doing some kind of online or just technology-based video viewing beyond your typical channels. Now, there's some other marketing facts we want to add to the basis of why, what is the reasons or the statistics to why we should even care about video, and that is that we know for a fact that about 70% of regular emails remain unopened. And so for anyone who's using email, and maybe not using specific automated tools, but just using email to try and connect with people, you've probably been like, why hasn't they return response to me? That's part of the reason why. Now, the cool side is that with video, we do know that about 85% of videos or video emails are actually being watched. So there's quite a contrast between the old-fashioned email usage to using something with video email. And then when we add to this just the whole idea of marketing, you're trying to market your business, you're trying to market, because you're looking for a new position and things like that. The whole idea of online video boosts a conversion rate or a sales conversion rate by about 25% right now. Again, video's still kind of in its infancy, but it's not, it has been around for a while. It just takes obviously time for the business community to get involved with that. So really the value to you as business entrepreneurs, business people, is mastering a kind of a quality brand messaging campaign with video, is that we know that 9 to 12% of your potential buyers are willing to pay more for brands they trust. And so video can really help you to establish what we like to call transactions, and ACT being the key word there, where ACT is putting you as the authority, creating credibility for your company, and then when the video is done correctly, it turns a viewer into a client. And so, many of us are aware because of the news and things like that of the one-hit wonder videos, what was it, like a swim team that was doing some dance in a van the other day when I saw the news or something. But that's really not the key for us in business. Although if you want to sing and dance in your video, by all means, please go right ahead and do that. But really, when it comes to using video for marketing of your business, it's really about consistency and frequency, much like Rhoda probably shares with you about blog consistency and frequency. So my goal of our little bit of time together is for me to remind you of things that you may already kind of know about video technology, but also reinforce for you why videos should be important to you and your business, and maybe why you should do a little bit more of it if you're not using it fully. And then to reveal to you some applicable strategies that you can walk away with today to potentially implement to really make some differences in your business. So we want to cover these 4 questions that are on your slide there, which is, when you hire a professional videographer of some kind, what are you paying for? Second, what makes a bad video? Third, what makes a good video? And fourth, how can you improve quality or save money in the creation of video or the use of video in the marketing and promotion of your business? So if we want to get to the room of video, we kind of first have to look at, well, what are you paying for when you hire a professional who does videography? And let's face it, the standard rate in Indianapolis for a 60-second commercial Starts about $1,500 and goes to about $3,000 a lot of times. Sure, there might be some folks on either end of that, but that's kind of the average for Midwest about what that might run. So what are you paying for? You're paying for scripting, you're paying for shooting, you're paying for editing, you're paying for branding, you're paying for rendering, or we might call that minimizing the video. You're paying for publishing, you're paying for broadcasting, which is the uploading usually to an online source of some kind, and the distribution of that, where it's getting, what channels it's being put in to help promote your business. So that's kind of the 8 areas of which typically is covered in that cost. What a lot of people don't realize is just to render about 10 minutes of video, it can take almost an hour to do that because a video file is so large. So there's a lot more time involved in what most people think, because we all have our videos in our phones, most of us, if you have a smartphone. Okay, so there's a little bit more time involved in one would think. So then it comes to, so, you know, what are the major no-nos when you're developing a video for your business? Well, the first thing is you shouldn't be using the video to try and sell products or services. Okay? Most people will immediately turn those things off, much like going on the social media today, where everybody's just posting links to try and get people to go straight to products to buy. It becomes noise. People don't want to see that. Also, just as a disclaimer, if you're shooting a video, you probably want to make sure you're in that video with your own brand name on your face, as opposed to a public, you know, like an Adidas or a Nike or some sort of other larger brand name, because you don't have permission to do that. So be cautious at that point. Second is, don't go for the technical wow factor. I mean, what I mean is, you know, there's a lot of people out there who are saying, oh, you have to have this video that has all these motion graphics and all these different things going in and walking in on the screen and all these sorts of things, which you may have or may not have heard of already. But the reality is people aren't looking for that. They're really looking for knowing who the authentic you is. So just simple and clean video will suffice. Third, my biggest recommendation is don't try and edit the video yourself. Yes, most of us who have a computer do have somewhere installed in our system an editing software. The reality is, though, that what really needs to happen for that video is it really needs to be professionally edited, because we can get down to the millisecond of editing, which those softwares usually that come for free on your computers can't do. So there's a lot of other reasons to do that, obviously, because of how we cut the video. So I like to say this is the anti-narcissism quotation, which is, you know, if you're not a professional in it, obviously you want to outsource it. The next piece is, well, how do we create quality content when we're developing a video? And so make a home run, really, with your content. So shooting a great video is really about capturing your story and finding maybe the right ally to help you do that. Sometimes when people just shoot the video of themselves, which is a great way to go about putting video online, a lot of times they don't seem really genuine because they're not talking to someone, they're talking to a camera. So a lot of times what can be really effective is if you get a colleague who knows you pretty well, who can just take you through a series of maybe 5 questions that they come up with to ask you about your business. Okay? So that can be really helpful to kind of create a really authentic and genuine response. And that's what we want to capture, is who you are genuinely. The next thing is, you want to think in terms of the old-fashioned radio script of 30-second spots, 45-second spots, 60-second spots. We know that we lose 50% of the audience after about 30 seconds. So really, you don't need a long footage. You definitely know 5-minute videos out there. That's not going to help you. It's also easier to splice the thing together. Whoever's doing the editing for you, it'll take them less time, which means cheaper for you. Okay, if it's cut and done, and you know, we start it, we stop it, we start it, we stop it. It's much easier to put together, and that time. And then FaceTime. If you are comfortable being in front of the video, by all means, you should do that. Much like we see on some of the business cards that are probably in the room. There's a picture of you on those business cards. People want to make sure, oh, yep, that's the guy I met at that networking event. That's who I want to connect with. And then the big thing is your content. And so you really want to offer tips from your industry, okay? Or tips that you've learned from your profession. Kind of those maybe frequently asked questions, those sorts of things. That's a great way to engage people and engage the audience to stay with you to watch. Now, just if you're going to do this yourself, there's no reason why you can't use your cell phones or your small video device to create the video footage yourself. Just use some simple strategies of using maybe outdoor light on an overcast day so that you get the right kind of color going on with your video camera. Make sure that you're not using the zooms on your phone or on those small cameras to take the video footage or to go closer. Actually physically move the tripod closer to you, as opposed to that for clarity. Okay, those cameras really aren't made to do all that zooming. They offer that as a convenience, but technologically they just don't have the capability to keep it very clear and clean. So a crisp video is important. You know, you can definitely use a PowerPoint script and set that the same height, set your camera the same height as your video, maybe right behind it or something like that, to help you with prompting to remember what to say. So that can also work for you. And then use a blank background. Like in this case, you notice I set the camera off to the side. The reason is because I don't want this string hanging down and coming out of my head, which will happen on the focuses and depth of field of, you know, my iPad. Okay, so be careful of what's behind you, bookshelves, things like that. Try and just get to a blank wall. The beauty of that is that anyone who's doing editing can put texting in very easily for you, and it won't interfere with what's in the background. And then think in terms of, as far as your fashion goes, think in terms of fashion that stands the test of time. Solid colors, you know, navies, blacks, things like that. Because that video might be out there, and once it's up there, it's out there forever, okay? So think in terms of contrast to, if your background is this light color, you want to be in a darker color off that background. Now, how do you save some money and some time with shooting video? Obviously, you want to buy simple equipment. Oftentimes, some of the, you know, I've got this $50 camera my sister gave me one year for Christmas, and I tell you, that is the best thing ever. You know, not these little flip $200 phones, that's a doorstop in my office actually, but this little $50 camera that takes AA batteries has the best sound quality ever, and it's just a little RCA. So it doesn't have to be $1,000 of equipment to do that. And then, as I said, you want to shoot in brief clips and once again have it, you know, done and edited. So beyond that, you can do things with video in terms of making sure that it's more findable online in terms of SEO things. And so when it comes to titling your video, don't use, you know, be cutesy in your titles. Be very clear. If you're a printer, you're going to say printer is your first word. You know, you're going to talk in SEO terms. Printing, you know, best tips, how to get the most from your printer, something like that. Okay? Make sure that your description is very clear on your video. What is the video about? Because the SEO or the search engines are reading those descriptions. Okay? Third, you can take advantage of making captioning. There are free captioning tools for the hearing impaired that you can use, and the beauty of that is you see that search engines cannot read the video images, but they can read the scripting of your text that they're going to be providing to the hearing impaired, and so that can improve your search engine optimization. And then tags. When you're tagging your video, like for me, anytime I'm writing any blog or doing any video, usually in the tags, which is again is a search engine optimization thing, I'm writing, you know, Indianapolis, marketing, you know, videography, something branding, something to that. Those are my tags because they're specific to my industry and what I'm looking for to get found for. Make sure that your brand logo has been watermarked in the video. This is to ensure that if you put an awesome video, no other company can come along and take your video and stick it on their website easily, right? And then finally, the big thing is you want a call to action of some kind. At the end of the video, it should say, call so-and-so today, you know, that sort of thing. You want some sort of request for them to do something. Now, finally, what are some secrets, you know, as like to call Sensei secret strategies? How can you remain top of the mind for your alliances, your clients, or your prospects? And so you really want to leverage your brand to be in demand for other people. And so there's two tools that can really help you to do this. One is video email. The reason is because we just talked about earlier in statistics is that you've got an 85% view rate, but also it's a differentiator. Okay, very few people in Indianapolis have video email. How many video emails did you get today? Anyone? Probably not. Okay, so it's a great way to show yourself as different. I found even as a small company, I've gotten myself in front of larger companies that probably wouldn't have normally looked to me. They would look to a Borshoff, but simply because after meeting someone at an event, I sent them a video. Hey, it was great meeting you at such and such an event. And then I followed up with it with some offline things. And then also like, you know, we want to talk to him. He's got something different. So that can be helpful to you. And second then is web conferencing. Okay, web conferencing's been out a couple of years now, but again, not everybody's learned from earlier discussion. Not everybody's using this as of yet. The beauty of web conferencing is that you're selling over distance, Okay, maybe it's, you can't quite get to a certain state part of the Indiana for selling, but you can 3D with web conferencing, and also you can sell to groups. Most modest of tools, you can have 50 people coming to your sales presentation. So those are two really key ways that you can kind of stay top of mind for clients. Now, you probably have some questions about video or how video can be helpful to your specific business. I'd be more than happy